morning and welcome to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman. And I'm so excited you're with us this morning. We're here to empower you, your friends, your family, your children, and your loved ones to be healthy and well naturally. And what I absolutely love about this is that you have the power every single moment of every single day to be the healthiest that you could possibly ever imagine. See, in today's world, we're being taught that if we feel good, we're well, and if we feel bad, we're sick. But the reality is that's not how the body functions and works at all. The body is so smart and intelligent, it does everything it needs to on its own. Let me ask you this. Do you ever think about your heart beating? It does it naturally. What about this? What if we went out, had a fabulous meal, ate some great food? Would you be sitting there talking to your friends thinking if your food's digesting properly? Would you be thinking about what's the next word you're going to be saying? Or would you even be thinking about how to move your fingertips or wiggle your toes? No, not at all. See, the body is so smart. It was born with the central nervous system, which literally was the first organ created when you were conceived. So you have to ask yourself, how vitally important is that to your health? Literally, that is where your health and your life comes from. It controls every single organ, tissue, and cell in the body, and it sends signals up to the brain, to the body, and back again, so that you're full of life, so that you have a high quality of life, and you get to be the best you can possibly be. However, in today's world, we have an abundance of stresses, and they're broken down into three different types: physical, chemical, and emotional. Physical stresses can be things such as the birth process. In a quote-unquote normal birth in a medical setting, they use between 40 to 60 pounds of uncontrolled pressure on their head and their neck. And in a C-section, many moms will tell my husband, who's a wellness chiropractor, Dr. Christman, they'll say, but I had a C-section. It was better. The reality is a C-section is 90 pounds of uncontrolled pressure put on that child's head and neck and hips, wherever they're pulling them from. So I ask you this. One, that's a huge, huge, huge physical stress to their life. And that's why the body begins to slowly break down. Another physical stress can be sitting in chairs for a long period of time. How long do you guys sit behind a desk at your job? Or maybe standing? Chemical stresses can be things such as the foods that we eat. Are you eating real, whole, chemical-free foods? Or are you eating foods out of packages and boxes? If we went to the grocery store, they estimate about 65% of all the foods on the grocery store shelves are genetically modified, which means they're not even real. Yet we're feeding them to ourselves, to our families, and our loved ones. It's a huge chemical stress. Chemical stresses can also be medications, whether they're prescribed or not, drugs, smoking, being around somebody that smokes. And what do you drink every single day? Are you drinking pure filtered reverse osmosis waters? Or are you drinking coffee, sodas, teas, juices, and milks? And emotional stresses. Many people do not even make the connection of this with their health. Emotional stresses can be things such as family stress, work stress, relationship stress. You know, I had the most fabulous grandma. My grandma had Alzheimer's for 7 years and lived in our home. We took the best care of her possible. But I literally watched my grandma slow down and deteriorate in front of my eyes. I remember the day she stopped eating. I remember the day that she stopped talking. You know, that's a huge stress. What stresses are going on in your life that you may not be making the connections of how it's not only creating havoc in your health, but literally turning the main organ that's controlling the function of your body, which is your central nervous system, it's slowing it down and turning it off. It creates a muscle imbalance, the vertebrae move, and that signal, which is so important and vital to life, can't get to the brain anymore. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that your health has no other choice but to slow down and stop. And today we're going to be talking to one of the most amazing chiropractors in the world. His name is Dr. Lyle Koca. And I've got to tell you, he's been not only a great friend of mine for many, many years, but he's one of those guys that not only empowers his practice members to be the best they could possibly be, But he is like my husband and I. He gets out into our community. He wants his world, the people that he is close to, the community that he touches, to be the best he can possibly be. And I'm so honored for him to be on today. I can't wait for you guys to not only listen and learn about the most amazing tips of how you can be the best you can be in your health and wellness, but I think you're going to fall in love with him too and think he's an absolutely amazing guy. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and I can't wait for you to meet Dr. Lyle.
Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center located at 2310 Churchville Road, Suite C in Bel Air, is enhancing lives through the power of a chiropractic adjustment. As a licensed chiropractor in Maryland and Pennsylvania, Dr. Evan Christman can correct damage from years of lifestyle stresses while educating you to maintain good health for your lifetime. A dedicated professional with a very special focus on children with learning differences and autism, Dr. Christman treats people of all ages: newborn babies, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and professional golfers. Isn't it time for you to reclaim your life? Take your first step toward health and vitality today. Call Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center, at 410-734-4060, and let their experienced staff show you how to restore the flow of life. 410-734-4060, or check them out at restorelifeflow.com.
Welcome back to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman, and I can't wait for you to meet Dr. Lyle Koca. Dr. Lyle, welcome to Wake Up to Wellness.
Well, thank you, Michelle. I got to tell you, I love the intro. I just learned a little bit there when when you were telling about what chiropractic is, so I should have taken notes. That was really good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I've got to tell you, though, for many people that have never met Dr. Lyle before, he is absolutely amazing. He is literally one of the best chiropractors in the world. He is so smart, so intelligent. He has the best family, such a beautiful wife, a beautiful daughter. And I've got to tell you, he not only invests in himself so that he can be the best he can be to empower his practice members and his community and his family to be the best possible, but he also invests in everybody around him. And, you've been one of those people that have invested in me, giving me great information, great advice that I carry with me forever. And one of the things Dr. Lyle said to me a long time ago was that I was worth it. And, one of the things that I think as we grow and we continue to be the person that we hope to be is that we may not always see how wonderful we are, the great things in ourselves, whereas people from the outside can look at you and go, God, you know what, Michelle, you're great at this, or you're great in that, or you know what, you're worth being the person that you're supposed to be. That's one of the lessons that I've learned from Dr. Lyle, and thank you. But tell me, Dr. Lyle, tell me a little bit about yourself. Why should we be listening to you today?
Well, I think what happens is, and you talk about that message of worth it, we're in society, we're never given that opportunity or told that we have permission to be the best that we can be. Is we just accept that that's what it is because that's the norm around us. And my philosophy is there's always just a little bit more in everybody. We just got to either untap it or have somebody give us permission. And not only from a health point of view, from a physical point of view, but the mental point of view too, that there's so much untapped potential inside of every single human being. It's just that nobody has given us permission to show that full potential that they possess, not only from a chiropractic physical well-being, but from my aspect, like you said, investing in yourself, the mental well-being. Because if you're healthier mentally, you feel better about you, feel more empowered about yourself, then you're going to go out there and you're going to want to, because it's the laws of the universe, to help those around you improve themselves too.
Isn't that the truth? And so tell me, how does this tie into chiropractic?
Well, first of all, you live your life through your nerve system. Every human experience you have is through your nerve system. And so if you have a diminished nerve system function, you live a less than fuller human experience. And that's the simplistic way of how I explain chiropractic. So what I want everybody to do is to live their full human experience.
And if they were to live their full human experience, what would it look like? If we were to, talk about you, you are so smart, you offer so much to the community. How have you been able to live a fuller expression? And where was that moment in your life where you said, you know what, it's time for me to step it up a notch?
the cool thing is it's a journey for me. And so I'm still not completed that journey of living my experience.
Wow.
And so where's that? It comes in every single interaction that when I walk into my adjusting room and start to interact with one of my family members, because that's what we call our practice members, as family members. We welcome them to our family. Is that it's never ends. It never stops. And so, when you'd asked me, what pivotal moment was there? What practice member that changed my life? It's everybody that I get to lay my hands on. To me, it's an opportunity to help people be the best version of them that they can. So it's an endless journey. Even with me, I'm still traveling that.
Wow. And, it's such an honor with being in practice with my husband for the last 15 years. I've got to tell you, every single person that walks through our practice, it's an honor. It's a gift. And I always say to myself, and I say this more verbally now, whereas in the past I used to keep it to myself, but I have more hope and faith in them and their health to be even better when they come through my door after meeting my husband than I think they have for themselves. Talk to me a little bit about that, and do you see that in your practice as well?
Well, I do, because it goes back to what I said earlier, Michelle. When they walk into our office, unfortunately, from a chiropractic point of view, we're that last resort doctor. We're that dead end. And, being in practice almost 25 years, that's what I hear is like, I've tried everything. And so what they say is, nobody's been able to help me. So I would say, well, guess what? I'm nobody. So I'm going to be able to help you. And so it's giving them, opening up to that awareness that there is more to life than in a bottle or a potion. That what life is inside of you. And so what we do is we teach them a better way of living. Obviously, we adjust their spine to diminish and remove subluxations. And we let them know how much of their life that they can truly live. Now they can go out in the community. And I do this very selfishly. I am a selfish person. And I do it because the reason I walk into my office every single day is to make the better world a better place for my daughter.
Isn't that great?
Because I feel she deserves, because that's our job as parents, to make the better world a better place for our children to grow up in. And so I know when I interact with somebody, selfishly, I'm doing it for my child. And I say that tongue-in-cheek because I know they're doing it for them, too.
Exactly. And I've got to say, you have such a beautiful daughter, and she's so smart. And, if it's like our child that should be born towards the end of summer. Yeah, and I heard this from Dr. Steve Hoffman, who's absolutely an amazing, amazing chiropractor and mentor to us over the years. And he used to say to me, his children can do anything they want in the world after they graduate from chiropractic college. and I think that's a great thought, and I say the same thing. My assumption is that it's sort of the same for you, that she's going to go and become a chiropractor and continue to follow your legacy of empowering the world to be healthy and well naturally.
We've always told Blake, even when she was just born, we put a star in her bedroom. And, she was 2 or 3 years old, and at night that star would glow.
Oh, wow.
And I used to always tell her, because it was one of those fluorescent stars, I said, there's your star. You follow that star everywhere you go, and that's your star, and that's all you focus on, and you will be that star. And when Blake was little bitty, I used to tell her every night before she went to bed, I'd kiss her and I'd give her a hug, and I'd look her in the eye. I said, you're going to be a great one.
Aww.
And it got to the point when they were about 7, 8 years old, she was like, I know, Dad. But I see now how it's evolved. She's 19 years old, and she knows that she's going to be a great one. She's going to deserve to be a great one because we gave her permission when she was a baby.
Isn't that great? And, I think, and I could be wrong with who said this, but I think it was Emerson, but the quote was, follow your bliss. And that's something that I've really done, I've really focused on what are those things that make me happy. For me, it's talking. Anybody that's come close to me or spent any time with me knows I love to talk. I love to talk on the phone. My mom used to tell me when I was 3 years old, she would actually find me in her bedroom just randomly dialing phone numbers. And I would sit there and carry on these long conversations, and I thought nothing of it. And that has been something that's been such an honor and a blessing to be able to not only, do workshops and health and wellness talks and have this great radio show to empower the world to be healthy and well, and then to meet other people like yourself that have such great, amazing knowledge to empower them to be well. So talk to me. I know you do things out in the community. After being in practice for 25 years and seeing all the great people you see, why do you think it's important for doctors to get out there, educate the community, and actually help them along?
And I say this when I sit and I talk with my team members in the office. If we don't, who's going to do it?
Isn't that the truth?
And it comes down to this. I remember in 9th grade, and I'm not going to say why I got in trouble when I was in high school, because this is a radio show and we don't want to say that. But when I was in 9th grade, I went into the guidance counselor's office, and on his desk he had a book sitting there, and and I was like bored because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the guidance counselor's office. I opened up the book, and it was "See You at the Top" by Zig Ziglar.
Wow.
And I remember this. I opened up the book and I just started leafing through it, and pretty soon I'm getting engulfed in this book. But the quote that I remember the most, this is 9th grade, I'm 14 years old. You cannot be truly successful in life until you help other people become successful first.
Oh, wow.
And I remember that, we're 33, 34 years later, and I still follow that motto.
Wow.
That I want to help other people become successful first, and then I'll become successful. And like I said earlier, that journey is still there, is that I still am striving to help other people become successful. And we think of success with money. And that's not. Success is being the best version of you. And to some people, and that's why going out and sharing in the public, maybe you have to help somebody define who that who is and define that you. And then from there, you lead them into being that best version of them.
Isn't that
and thus, that's the journey that it's your responsibility, and it is. As a healthcare provider, as a parent, as a human being, to go out there and help people be their best version.
Isn't that the truth? And, it's interesting you say that, because you and I both, and my husband, we go to all sorts of, wonderful chiropractic educational seminars. And there's something that one of our friends have said over time. You know him as well as I do very well, Dr. Patrick Gentempo, absolutely amazing leader in our chiropractic profession. But what he told me a long time ago, and he's told thousands and thousands and thousands of chiropractors, is be the person, do the activity, you then get to have what it is you want. And for many people, as you say, that's money. But many people have it backwards. They say, God, if I just only had blank amount of money, gosh, if I just only had whatever, then I would be this fabulous person. And the reality is that you have to be the person that you want the world to see. If you want to see people being healthy and well, then you've got to make healthy and well choices and decisions, learn what they really are. If you want to be the best financial advisor in the world, then you've got to learn how to be the person that's the best financial advisor in the world, do those activities, and then you get to have. And it was interesting, about a week ago, I came home. My house is very, very clean. Everything's organized in its place. I don't know how our dog Lily, she's a bull mastiff, got a hold of this notebook that I've kept for the last few years. And it was in her doggy bed, just right there in the middle. And it was a piece of paper that I wrote during one of the seminars that Dr. Gentempo spoke at. And in red ink it said, be, do, and have. And I went, I guess I needed that message today.
That's a motto that for years I heard that mid-'90s, and Michelle, we still in our daughter, in our life, even with my practice members, it's be, do, have, and you so have to do that. And last night, here's a good example. We have an event that we're sponsoring here in about 45 minutes here in Omaha, where we've brought in one of the top philosophy speakers, and he spent yesterday in the office with me, and we have chiropractic students at my house from 2 different chiropractic colleges. We have a chiropractor from Colorado at the house. We got chiropractors from Minnesota. We had kind of a chiro slumber party last night.
Wow, who's the speaker?
Dr. Rob Sennett.
Oh yeah, he has. I have his books.
It's an amazing human being, and it was interesting. We sat around the table in the dining room last night. I don't know, we had 14, 15 people there, and it was I mean, my cheeks were sore from laughing. My brain was sore from thinking. My heart was broke from just some of the stuff, the state of the affairs. But the cool thing about it was, and you talk about this, what Patrick says is and Larry or Dr. Larry Markson had said it. It's you got to be, do, have. To see the students that are there, and one of them in particular that I've known and have mentored for a year. I had one little girl that was here last night that, as an 8th grader, she was a practice member of mine, and now she's in 4th Try Chiropractic School.
Oh, wow.
And to see them to evolve into that leader, and I know sitting around the table, that we had I think 5 or 6 students here last night. Well, they're still here. They're getting ready for today. They're going to do what you and I are doing and what your husband's doing, what Patrick's doing, because we've taught them to lead, and we've taught them at an early on in their chiropractic career. They're going to lead in their community. They're going to lead in their profession. They're going to lead in helping people be who they need to be.
Isn't that the truth? And quite frankly, our community, they're not well. They're sick, they're dying, they're taking unnecessary medications, unnecessary surgeries. They're heading down this path of saying somebody else is responsible for my health, when the reality is the responsibility is theirs. And every single action, choice, and decision they take is either moving them towards being healthy and well or moving them towards being sick and ill. And I always tease a little bit with my mom, because my mom will say, oh my God, so-and-so got the flu, so-and-so got the virus. And I always tease her and I say, Ma, what did they have, a catcher's mitt on? And they caught the virus. Oh, they caught the flu. You've got to realize that the body's so smart. The immune system, if it's doing its job, you're feeding it, you're putting good things into your system, and you have a life that's set up for you to win. Dr. Lyle, should you be healthy or should you be sick?
Well, obviously that's something. You should be healthy.
Yeah.
And this is what we always tell people: be a bad catcher. Stop catching.
Yeah.
Take the glove off, and when they throw the ball at you, that is the ball of cold or flu, don't catch it.
Isn't that the truth?
And it's just how many times do we hear this? And I laugh. Is I woke up with a bad whatever, unhealthy.
Right.
So why not the other side? What, can you wake up healthy? It's such a, they say, I woke up, doc, and I got this. I must have slept wrong. Oh, really? You ever slept right? Just choose to sleep differently. If you're sleeping wrong and you're waking up unhealthy, I got an idea. Sleep on the other side of bed. Maybe that's sleeping right.
That is so smart. I love it. But it's the truth. And the honest answer is, though, and that's why we are out here doing what we're doing. That's why on the weekends we're out doing screenings. We're meeting the community. We're doing talks and doing our best to educate, because the reality is this is the belief system. And as much as you and I, we understand it and we get it, the reality is, I giggle a little, but it's really not a laughing matter. At the end of the day, our community needs this message. And what you're doing is so vitally important, to have these future chiropractors there, to have your practice members that want to be chiropractors. That's where you start to change the world. Where you have one person telling the story of what health and wellness is, and the next person telling the story of what health and wellness is. And the reality is, the community's smart. They'll learn. But they're under such a tremendous amount of advertising, belief systems that they've bought into. If there's one nugget of information that you've learned over the last 25 years of practice, they could literally get somebody that's listening to the show today to stand up and take action, what would that be for you?
And I said it at the start, and I'm saying, everybody listen, I'm giving you permission right now to change. Just because you sit around with your friends and they all act that way, you don't have to be in that culture. You don't have to be in that tribe. I give you permission to just change. It's okay. Change is uncomfortable, but here's what's fun about it. Growth lies in that area of discomfort. So it's okay to change. It's okay to be different, because I got to tell you what, different's good. Because the norm today isn't what I want to be. I see these, for the first time ever, our children's lifespan is less than ours. And here's what scares me about that. We know that. The media says that. I'm going to say, the other guys say that. So if we know that and you're consciously aware of it and you know it's going to happen and we keep talking about it, then why not just change your belief system and just go, okay, I'm going to change. I'm not going to do that. And it's just like, you put the dot on the wall, you bang your head against the dot. I tell you what you do, erase the dot, quit banging your head against the wall. It's really pretty simple.
There are many groups that I've belonged to and boards that I sit on that, I'll talk to them about this is what we should be doing to get our community to be well, from food to exercise, the way they're thinking. And I'm being told they're not going to do that. I don't believe that in a million years. I believe there's so many messages out there that are contradictory. And Dr. Gentempo would say contradictions lead to destruction. And it sounds like you're telling me that they not only have the permission to change, to grow, to be the best they could possibly be, but to also be healthy and well. And from all I've learned, and I've been practicing with my husband, like I said, for a very long time, is it all starts from your central nervous system. That's the first vital need, literally, and it's just an estimate. But if you accidentally or on purpose cut that central nervous system, severed it, life is gone as we know it. Yet I see so many people focusing on the food. They'll say, oh, I'm doing this program, I'm doing that program, oh, I'm eating this, oh, I'm doing that. Just an estimate, but you can live about 40 days without food before you die.
Yep.
The next is water, and the next after that is oxygen. And my dad's a volunteer fireman. When he shows up for ambulance calls and someone's been in a car accident, he doesn't run up to the car and say, oh my God, did you eat today? Did you have enough to drink? No, he says, do you have proper airflow? And from there, if the central nervous system's functioning, well, thank God. But if it's severed, it's over with. And from what I've learned, you need to start with the central nervous system first, see your wellness chiropractor, and then you can start to add proper things to exercise and to eat and to put into your system. What are your thoughts on that?
And when people ask me, anybody, community members, total strangers, and what you just said, you live your life through your nerve system. Every human experience you have is through your nerve system. The stresses of life build. Eventually, your body diminishes the adaptive process. It changes. We create this thing called subluxation, which inhibits the nerve system to function. If we don't correct that subluxation and address the stressors, then life doesn't function how it should. And unfortunately then we start adding toxins and drugs and potions, which are more chemical stress on your body that diminishes the nerve system. In your house right now, if I shut the power off to your house, you lose life in your house. Have you? And I know you're up in the east, sir. I know you get snow and ice storms.
Yeah, we do.
Have you ever noticed? And for those listening, see, I'm getting wound up now, Michelle. Have you ever noticed that when the power goes out, and I just want you to just imagine, clear your mind, when the power goes out, how quiet your house gets. That's what happens inside your body. When the power goes out, it gets quiet. And, for a little bit, people will go in the house, I like that. But then you start to think the food in the refrigerator starts to rot. Our stomach doesn't work right. The computer doesn't work. Oh, my gosh, guess what? Now the memory to my brain is being diminished. And all the facets inside your house, relate them to facets of your body. The furnace doesn't work anymore. That's your lungs. The washer and dryer doesn't work anymore. That's your kidney and liver. And pretty soon that silence gets more and more. You can't call the fire department. They can't come in and go, oh, you don't have power? Let's put a new refrigerator in your house. Let's give you a new washer and dryer. Let's replace the light bulb. It's not coming on until you turn the power on. And that's what chiropractors do, is we turn the power on so that everything works right.
I love it.
As BJ said, it's as simple as that.
And that is what we do. We restore life flow so the body can be at its best optimal ability of health, vitality, and quality of life. And Dr. Lyle, I just want to thank you so much for your time. It's been such an honor. I'd love to have you on again. And I'm really grateful and thankful for you.
Hey, right back at you. Love and appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. And I can't wait for you all to tune in next Saturday live from 8:30 till 9 in the morning to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman. And you can hear us on WAMD 970 AM, WKHZ 810 AM, WYRE 1460 AM. And you can watch us live on www.khztv.com. And make sure you tune in to these stations all week long. They have the most amazing music.